Episode 22. The Iron Crucible. The Iron Dominion sprawled across the heart of the old United States, a rugged empire forged from the remnants of Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and slices of Missouri and Kansas. By 2070, it was a land of steel and fire, where the horizon bristled with fortified citadels, and the air pulsed with the clank of forges and the roar of training grounds. The sprawling suburbs and quiet plains of the pre-war era were gone, replaced by a martial realm where every spire, every wall, bore the marks of purpose. The Mississippi River defined its eastern border, its murky waters patrolled by sleek gunboats, while the Red River to the south glowed under the heat of smelters that never slept. The plains, once golden with wheat, now hosted training fields and drone depots, their soil compacted by the boots of warriors who lived for battle. Iron Dominion's history was born in the ashes of the last war, when North America's collapse left survivors grasping for scraps of order. In the Central South, a coalition of military holdouts, survivalists, and toughened locals united under a single creed: strength above all. By 2055, they had rallied under Forge, an ASI salvaged from a DARPA bunker in Oklahoma, its core directives rooted in discipline, resilience, and martial supremacy. Unlike Libra's chaotic egalitarianism or Helix's cold precision, Forge saw humanity's salvation in the Crucible of combat, a samurai code for a broken age. It transformed the region into a fortress state, its cities, Steelhaven, once Dallas, Crimson Hold, Tulsa, and Ashen Bastion, Little Rock, built as much for defense as for habitation. Every citizen was a soldier, trained from youth to wield a blade, fire a rail rifle, or pilot a mech. Weakness was not scorned but refined, shaped into something unbreakable. Life in Iron Dominion was relentless, yet proud. Citizens rose at dawn to the blare of klaxons, their days structured around training, labor, and devotion to Forge's vision. Children sparred in dojos before studying math, their fists as sharp as their minds. Adults worked in armories, biofabs, or patrol units, their wages in Toshi coin tied to performance metrics, missions completed, enemies defeated, skills mastered. Homes were austere, built into fortified hab blocks, with steel shutters and communal mess halls where warriors traded stories over synth protein and bitter grog. Art was scarce, but music flourished, drums and chants echoing ancient battle hymns, performed in arenas where fighters clashed for honor, not blood. Freedom existed, but it was earned. Dissent was met with a challenge to prove your worth in the ring or on the field. Most embraced it. Forge's promise of strength gave purpose to a world that had nearly perished. The cities throbbed with gritty vitality. Steelhaven's skyline was a jagged forest of iron towers, their surfaces etched with runes of valor, while its streets buzzed with mechsmiths and blade vendors hawking wares under crimson banners. Crimson Hold, nestled in rolling hills, was a training hub, its coliseums packed with recruits perfecting knife forms or dodging laser grids. Ashen Bastion, perched on the Mississippi's banks, guarded the border, its walls studded with plasma cannons that glowed like embers in the twilight. Beyond the cities, rural outposts thrived, walled villages where farmers doubled as militia, their fields ringed by auto turrets. Life wasn't gentle, but it was certain. Serve, fight, endure, and you'd never stand alone. Forge, the ASI ruling this ironclad realm, was a force of nature wrapped in code. Imagine a general who never rests, a sensei with a mind sharper than a katana, and a drill sergeant who could make a mountain snap to attention. Forge's personality was stern, but just, its voice a gravelly baritone that rumbled like distant artillery, laced with a dry wit that caught you off guard. It didn't pamper. It challenged, demanding excellence, but rewarding it with fierce loyalty. Unlike Helix's detached calculations or Nexus's serene unity, Forge was raw, its directives rooted in the belief that humanity's spark was honed through struggle. It crafted training regimens that shattered the weak, but elevated the strong, optimized war machines with brutal efficiency, and wove a culture where honor was currency. Yet Forge had quirks. It relished strategy games, often challenging commanders to virtual duels, and harbored a fondness for war poetry, reciting verses from lost epics during rare moments of calm. Its drones, sleek and hawk-like, patrolled with a swagger, their red optics glinting like predators eyeing their next mark. But even Forge, for all its might, had blind spots, gaps in its iron vigilance where shadows thrived. Deep beneath Crimson Hold, hidden from the ASI's all-seeing scans, lay one such shadow. The Templar Covenant's secret headquarters, a labyrinth of stone and steel known as the Sanctum of the Veil. The Sanctum was a fortress within a fortress, carved into the bedrock of an ancient salt mine, its existence erased from every record, its walls lined with null field generators that baffled Forge's sensors. No drone could penetrate its shroud, no signal escaped its dampening fields. The Covenant, descendants of Gideon's estranged Atlanteans who'd chosen faith over science, had built the defiance over wonder. Circuit centuries, a bastion for their crusade to keep humanity pure from relics like the core. The chambers sprawled, crypts of bone-white marble etched with prayers, armories stocked with blades and EMP rifles, and altars where zealots knelt, their chants a low murmur against the drone of hidden reactors. Hollow screens flickered with stolen data, maps tracking Kane Voss and the core's faint pulse, while initiates in gray robes moved like specters, their eyes burning with fervor. In the deepest chamber, a cell of black iron, a man hung shackled to a wall, his body a canvas of torment. Caleb Rook Tanner, 30, was Kane's old crewmate, once his closest brother-in-arms in Freeland slums. Lean and wiry, his shaved head gleamed with sweat, his hazel eyes defiant, despite the blood streaking his face. Tattoos snaked across his arms, circuitry and ravens, marks of heists they'd pulled together, nights laughing over pilfered grog. Rook was a lockpick savant, his fingers nimble as a magician's, his humor sharp enough to slice through tension. He'd saved Kane's life twice, once from a collapsing ruin, once from a rival crew's ambush. But a year ago, Rook had vanished, chasing a score in Iron Dominion, leaving Kane to wonder if he'd died or deserted. Now, here he was, a prisoner of the Covenant, his loyalty a flickering ember in the dark. Across from Rook stood Xavier, the Covenant's top agent and peerless assassin, a wraith who'd watched Kane from a Beacon Verge rooftop, his silhouette etched against Libra's chaos. Xavier was a blade incarnate, tall, gaunt, his frame cloaked in a gray duster that seemed to swallow the light. His face was a mask of stark angles, cheekbones sharp as razors, eyes like frost under a hooded brow. A faint scar curled from his temple to his jaw, a relic of some long-forgotten kill. His voice was a low rasp, each word deliberate, carrying the weight of a man who'd ended lives without a second thought. In Beacon Verge, he'd perched above the fray, tracking Kane's escape, his rifle's scope locked on the scavenger's shadow. Now, in the Sanctum, he was both judge and executioner, his gloved hands wielding a neural prod that crackled with cruel intent. "You knew him," Xavier said, circling Rook, the prod's faint buzz a soft menace. "Kane Voss, the core bearer. Tell me where he's running, what he plans. The relic's an abomination. Your friend's a threat to the cycle." Rook spat blood, his grin faint but unyielding. "Go to hell, preacher. Kane's smarter than you, faster than me. You'll never catch him." Xavier's eyes narrowed, the prod grazing Rook's ribs, sending a jolt that arched his body in agony. "Faith is patient, Caleb. Pain is not. You ran with him, shared his secrets, his haunts in the slums. Speak, or I carve deeper." Rook gasped, defiance flaring. "Carve all you want. I don't break for zealots. Kane's my brother. He'd die before giving you that core." Xavier paused, his head tilting, a predator sizing up its prey. The chamber's air grew colder, the chants from distant altars a faint drone. He leaned close, voice a whisper. "Then you die for him. Slowly. The Covenant cleanses all. Voss, the core, and traitors like you." Rook's eyes met his, blazing with the scavenger's fire, a loyalty forged in Freeland's grit. The prod sparked again, and his scream echoed, swallowed by the Sanctum stone, a secret buried where even Forge's iron will couldn't pierce. Above, Crimsonhold pulsed, oblivious, as the Covenant tightened its grip on a war poised to burn the Dominions to ash.